Welcome to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and this time we are looking at the Anryu Kurouchi Suminagashi Shirogami, or white paper number 2, Gyuto 210mm knife. This line of knives is a core steel of Shirogami, or white paper number 2, reactive carbon steel. The heat treat rating is around 61 plus Rockwell on that. And the construction is iron layered cladding. It is reactive over that white number 2 core. I discovered a typo on my sheet. So it's a 3-layer sandwich. The cladding does have a smooth kurouchi, or blacksmith finish on top of that. And the word Suminagashi refers to this layered cladding exposed at the grind of the knife. The weight of the knife is about 6.8 ounces, 193 grams. All these dimensions and weights will vary just a little bit from knife to knife since they're handmade. The blade length is 242mm on this one, or right around 9.5 inches. Overall length on this is about a little under 16 inches. The thickness of the spine above the back of the knife, the chin or heel area here, is 3.1 millimeters, and then that tapers down, it holds it quite a bit below that, more 2-ish, maybe 1 3/4, down to the tip where the grind starts. So it doesn't have a lot of distal taper necessarily, but it does thin out where the grind starts towards the very tip. The blade height is about 51.6 on this particular one, so generous height. And the handles, these are real nice handles on these. I really like these handles. They are oval, ambidextrous rosewood with packawood, black packawood ferrule. Great finish, super smooth right here at the junction. They feel great in the hand. They look great on the knife. They just balance the knife out. So these are lovely handles. The circumference is right around 3 inches here at the ferrule main knife junction. And as is Anryu's style, you've got the curved back of the knife or choil into the imoto or neck, which is really oriented. You got plenty of room here, and it's really oriented around a pinch grip style. Loads of space there to lock in on a pinch grip, so they're super comfortable on a pinch grip. These have nice fit and finish. The back of this knife does have relief on the very corners, but then there's just a little bit of a sharper ridge towards the middle, but it doesn't seem to affect that too much when I held the knife, so I think it'll still be pretty comfortable for you. So overall, I'd say fit and finish is really nice on these. The spine is relieved enough to make it quite comfortable, and the craftsmanship is evident on these. They've got nice grinds to them. Balance point on this knife is right about there, which for me is just a touch in front of my pinch grip. So if you got a little bit larger hands, it might be right on the money. So it's got a slight blade-heavy balance to it, but hey, it is a 240, and it's got a little bit of thickness to the blade. So some people really like that balance because it gives you a little muscle through the cuts and kind of helps, that added mass helps in the cuts. Let's take a close-up look at it. So again, it's got a pretty finish to it. It's kind of matte finish, just a little bit of texture on the flats of the blade. You've got some chiseled kanji right here. Some of the details of the kanji are covered up just a little bit with the kurouchi finish, but there's your Suminagashi, or layered Damascus style cladding exposed. So it's a real pretty knife. Nice presentation on this knife. Let's take a look at the profile and how it looks rolling on a cutting board. Here's your choil shot. These aren't super duper thin at the edge, but they're thin enough to give you good performance, but yet you still have a little meat behind the edge. So there's your profile on these. And let's see what it looks like on our cutting board. That'll kind of tell us the style of the knife and what kind of techniques it might work well for. So this particular one, when you're rolling on the board, there's not a real ton of true flat spot on this. You can see I've got a bit of back belly right there. So there's not a big old flat section on this particular knife. And I'd say this is pretty oriented towards rocking with maybe a little bit of push cutting, but it's really not a push cutting, or I should say chopping oriented. If you do push-pull cuts, glide cuts, rocking, that's kind of the strength of this knife. It's not a big chopper doesn't have much of a flat spot, as you can tell. I can get it about that high before I start digging the tip in, so you've got some nice clearance for rocking over ingredients. It does flow nicely. It's got a nice profile that just kind of rolls into that. So these are nicely crafted blades, nice looking, very comfortable in a pinch grip. Good fit and finish on them, real pretty blades. So If you're looking for an all-reactive blade and you want an Anryu and you want something different than the hammered series, this is a really nice option for you. So here we have the Anryu Kurouchi Suminagashi Shirogami, our white paper number 2, Gyuto 2 10mm knife.